Okay.
Has it started?
Yeah, just showed a live streamed. Okay, thank you so much. I will be talking on policies, procedures, and standards. And the first one is formal data quality principles are in place and are actively referred to. So, just a big context that this is a greenfield organization and assumptions that are, and there's not been much being done. So at this particular instance, I rated them one. And it's at this instance based on what I've seen from the system, interactions with different stakeholders, and a bit of work that I've done being employed as a data governance manager. So I thought the normal formal data quality principles, they're not really that much in place. So it is one at the moment as it is, and the expectation is in the next 1 year we will improve it to two. The reason I said that is because they would have some kind of principles in place, but it might not be as rigorous, as strong, as robust as it should. And then that's why I put it as one. So there'll be a lot coming up from me as a data governance manager to make it a little bit more principled and robust as well. And that's intentional to, in the next 1 year, to progress it to two, and thereafter to take it to three. And that's intention.
Okay. All right. Any question from anybody on this?
Yes,
Thanks,
Pastor.
Yeah.
My question is to the barrister. He said very well the former data quality principles put in place. He rated it as one coming in place when in the consistent year to get into two. Can I ask what's the robust, or is there a case study to this? In his if I can put it across presentation, and what is the plan to grow it up to two since it's coming into this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I think the reason it's rated one is, as I said, based on what one has seen with interactions I've had in their system and the organization, looking at the principles they have, and that's why it's rated one. And what needs to be improved to get it to two is a whole lot will come from me as a data governance manager to improve their principles, to come up with good principles based on my experience. And at this point, I think it will also be a place where our teacher and good trainer can add more things. But the expectation is to move it from where it is to the next level, which is two. There'll be a whole lot of work, not necessarily done by the data governance manager, but coming up with principles that can help what we have on ground to be improved to the next level.
Is there a case study to this that you can put into practice, please? Like a real life situation case.
That's what he said. He looked at it because it's an AVOC initial, and he wants to move to the next one. So, Louis is actually asking the criteria you consider to get that done, to move it to two. So, yeah. And I know why is it two? Why don't you just say 5 or 4? That means, is any reason in terms of budget, in terms of conviction, in terms of work to be done? Those are the things that we need to.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think there are quite a few things. One is assuming that organization has not got the right resource to work with, and that would take time. So it's not something that only one data governance manager can do. So there'll be some time to employ the right resource to work with. There will be a need for budget because everything will boil down to cost. So there will be some costs associated to that. So I need to make a budget for the resources that need to go in. Again, there will be a kind of training, but our trainer will correct me if I'm wrong here. So those things will be in place as criteria. once we get them and come up with those principles, they might not be where we want them to be, but at least we have moved from one level to the next.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me come in here this way. The law, you are really, really good in putting things. In fact, I like people who actually really know what they are doing properly when it comes to this, which is really good. So the main thing that we need to really look at is the fundamental principles for data qualities. So what are the things that will actually really need to be in place properly, and why they are not in place? So if you look at that, we have to define the core data quality principles, and we know the data quality dimensions, which of course we have. The first thing we need to consider in this is data core. The data core. We need to define the core data quality principle. The dimension, that's what it's actually really mean, because now what we're talking about now is those principles, are they in place? So what are the dimensions? We need to establish clear and measurable data quality dimensions. Measurable. When you talk about when we talk about accuracy, the data that you met there, did they reflect the real world object or event in the enterprise? Does it mean that we have data that have completeness? What does that really mean? Does it mean that all required data feeds are filled? And is it consistencies? We have the database. Are they all data we have within the database? Are they consistent? Data in uniform across system within the organization? Is it timelessly? Not just the data dimension. Louis, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. I was about to. Apologies to Barrister, sir. So actually, my question was that due to the assignment given that from 1 year, and in the next year there will be improvement. I mean to step up to 2, and we are speaking about formal data qualities principles. Just like what Pastor was saying, define the main principles. So in my own idea on this assignment, when you said you notice it and place it as a 1, in my own head I was thinking that these principles are actually good. And if you're looking into it, is how you can improve on these present principles. Because if you're adapting a new principles and policy, it takes time for that to be adapted. And I felt the 2 years was a short time for whatever to impact the new principles into it, indicating the indicators put in all these situations like 1 year, 2 year, and co. So that was why I was asking. Is there a case study to this that you feel like within 1 year you can meet that target? Because there's already improvement already on the get go, and but you didn't express which principles it is itself. Although the question just says that formal data qualities and all of that, and it was just 1 rated. And for you to take it to 2, that means you are improving what is in 1. So that was my point, sir.
Yeah, you are quite right. He also established the reason why he put it 2, because probably before he joined the corporation, the budget for that year has been prepared. So on that basis, the little financial support or the program is limited, so they can only progress by 1. Okay, that is the main reason. Otherwise, in the elemental function of that, the definition of core data quality principles are there, and without them, without those elemental function, you can never have integrity of data. In fact, that's the main thing. So if not because of budget constraint, as he said, then it's supposed to even be flying to 3, 4, 5 in the first, because that's the essence of being there. Okay, even if one is going for an interview, they will talk about policy of this policy. Our principal guidelines for data quality integrity. So that should be number one anyway. But if you can't move from 1 to 3 or 4 as this quickly, then there must be a budget constraint. There are so many things coming to it. Let me just establish it as we're going. As we're going, first of all, you also need to think about develop a data quality framework. Data quality framework.
Pastor, I've noticed even at work, if new policies come in, it doesn't take effect. It takes a while. Sometimes the new policies that are driven into the organizations or companies or structure, it somehow interferes with the old one. So with time, they have to make it flexible, but also projecting to where they need the company to be. And so it's not something that just comes in immediately and just take effect.
Yeah, there will be timeline that will be put there that will differ from social time it will take effect. People should creating a more opportunity for people to be aware and have time to change, because people resist change when it is very emergent, just abruptly. So now this framework of data quality, which it requires you creating a formal document or policy that outlines the organizational approach to managing and maintaining data quality, that has to take place as well, and also include standards and rules and responsibility and metrics as well, and how to escalate procedures, or escalation procedure has to be enshrined into the data quality framework immediately. So, and also we need within that principle, the guidelines that we need to put together, is we have to understand how to gain leadership approval and endorsement of what you're doing. This present the data quality principle and framework to data governance. And data governance, creating the data governance council and executive committee for approval. You can prepare a policy, but it needs approval across the functional department, who probably the data owners and some stakeholders you have put as part of your data governance council. Okay. And you also need to have what is called ensure executive sponsor, which this is where the budget comes in now. Publicly support and communicate the principle to all departments within the corporation or any enterprise you have. The another thing one may even think about again is how to integrate the entire principle you put in together into policies and procedures. That is embedding the data itself, quality principles, into data management policies or SOPs. I hope everyone knows what's called SOP. It's standard operating procedures and the business, processes. Because if you have a best practice and your SOP it does not match with your best practice, then they're going to be a differential that occur, and that will be as a result of management practice. So best practice is the most acceptable practice, which is universally accepted and that has produced the most superior result ever compared to all alternatives, including updating. So now, if this is a practice, the best practice you can think of by standard made available, and you say, and there's an update and you don't meet up with the update, it's no more best practice. So now, if SOP does not match with the best practice by criteria you have set or standard you have set, the differential is as a result of management practice, which of course some managers or whoever stakeholder who would manage the entire process and program need to be trained or need to be aware of what are best practices with respect to standard sets. And then that takes place by integration of principle into policy and procedures. Enforcement is very important as well. That all these need to be communicated and promote, promote more training and awareness to the people. And we also need to provide what is called in real life examples of how data quality principle improve decision making, especially strategic decision making and compliance. So it's only that line alone has got a lot of things that need to be put. That's why it requires a very strong budget. If there's no budget, I won't blame ambassador putting it to one extra one for 1 year because it require money. So I think I will comply to that. And you'll be able to prove that if you take it to 3 or 4, you'll be able to say, well, I discussed this with the management, they buy into it, and they have a supplementary budget to sponsor. Then that is a very big case. You have proven your case because they know why data matters and why do we need to maintain data quality within the enterprise or across the department, the functional department. You also need to have what is called actual active reference and usage of the data. What does that really mean? It's like you require what is called project teams and business units to refer to reference data quality in terms of in terms of principle and project documentation and review. That is why people can create what is it called, an initiative. If we used to talk about initiative of creating a glossary, people can refer to as well, and that will make things very easy. And there should be checklists and also a template that mandate alignment with the principles. If they are not, then there should be a problem, especially when you have data design or migration activities, migration activities that's maybe probably scalability. You're going to the cloud, not just having database. So those principles, those checklists, templates, what I will do, I think I will prepare a template for the data governance action checklist for this thing I send it. Please, if I say I'm going to send something, if I haven't sent it, remind me. I always say this, remind me, because sometimes you should know what I'm talking about. We're busy to forget to send something across, but remind me definitely. And I will do that so that it will be easy for you to have reasons why you have to keep this and why this is not more than this because there's no budget for this or there's no so for this. But this is why it goes to this within TDM where you spread it. Depends on the complexity of data and the muscle. And when I say muscle, financial support from the chief executive or from the company. So you can that will determine how quick you can move from AVOC to optimization.
Did you say what you'll be expecting? What we should remind is, did you say data checklist? Is that what you called it?
For this, for what we're discussing now, data. So
Okay.
it's good for me to give a data governance action checklist for the formal data quality principle so that need to be in place. Okay. Any other person any question from another person so that we can go to the next one? It's good to go to the next one now because if you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. Go to the next one now because so that we can ship something within an hour. Okay. Okay. Which one is the next one?
So I thought the next one would have been at the back of what you've just explained. Another thing, data quality policies, standards, guidelines are in place and understood throughout the enterprise. So I'm guessing that the reason you gave could be applicable to this particular one. Again, I put it as one, and with the intention that in the next year we could have gone into the development and phase rather than just still on ad hoc. So I would have thought some of these things you mentioned, budget constraints, getting executive buy-in, ensuring that some of the things are in place will enable those data policies to come into being, standards and guidelines will be in place. So you might correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that some of these examples that could be constraints will be applicable to this number 2.
Yeah, but apart from that, what do you think yourself? Or any other person, because you just said now, any other person for that.
That would
Yes,
help.
Pastor. For data
Okay,
quality,
so
policy, standard guidelines to be in place and understood throughout the whole enterprise. Yes, being a green field for one, and placing it to two. For this, more awareness should be put in place in the enterprise. Refreshment course, training, and more awareness from the stakeholders, the managers, to make sure KPIs are up, to make sure everyone has a vast understanding and the whole enterprise will grow into it. Thank you.
yeah, that's a very good contribution as well. Yeah, just as what the law said, some of these things that we've said are applicable as well. But it's good to know that it's not just being applicable. We need to develop comprehensive data quality policy, okay, to meet the targets. And the development will depends on whether it has been a green field. So it has been a brown field, because for you to develop a comprehensive policy, that means there's been an existence, okay, of a policy. So what we need to do is to draft a formal data quality policy that defines the company's commitment to maintaining accurate, complete consistency, and just the dimension. That will include that policy will include the scope, objectives, roles, and responsibilities. And also, in that policy, you align the policy with overall data governance and information management framework. So that is how to comprehensively have a data quality policy. And the last time, I think some of you came out with their policy that they defined. So they drafted, and we look at them. They are not out of the line, but depends on the company you are working with. Another thing you could do on this basis, I want us to note it down, is to define data quality standards. And the standards are very, very important. In that way, that you can carry out by establishing the company's wide data standard covering naming convention, like my wife will always say John Smith John. So whether the surname first or first name comes first depends, and also validation rules. If at the point of entry data are not in a right format, it will not be validified. So those rules are out there, and the formats of each data set, like MP3 cannot be in MP4, PDF cannot be in Excel. Those formats are very important, and also acceptable data threshold that you can hold. Very important as well. Those are standard one can easily look at, and that also includes standard for key data domain, like customer domain, which is a CRM, in most cases, financial domain, talking about the fintech, and also we're talking about employee data. That is quite different. So you must have a domain, like HR will always a lot having employee data and spreading to each of the department. So not everybody have access to some of these things. The accountants or payroll department, they have financial detail of people, and those domain must be standardized. A mechanical or a maintenance department does not need to have access to that domain or less on requisition, and then when it is now depends on the data owner or the stewards that are in charge to have an authorized form field, and how long those authorized form takes have different kind of format, depends on the complexity of data people are handling, and also how strict your program will be to authorize someone to have access to some data concerning some people. Okay, you also, in that standard, you also have to ensure that data align with regulatory requirements and business needs. So it's very important we get that clear. Moving forward on the same way is that you must develop clear data quality guidelines. Okay, that require practical guidance documents explaining how to apply the same policy. It's not just the policy you have. You need to have a guideline of the policy application as well. Very important, and standards in every daily operation. Have we done this? Yeah, this is the policy here. The policy said this here. This is what must follow here. You know, it's very important. You can include the example like templates, procedures. Have this be achieved within the policy? Well, you know, at each stage, very important procedure for data entry, validation, I have mentioned before, and also correction if things are not in the right format. So we have a lot to talk about on that, and I hope. Has anybody heard anything to say about that?
I think I've raised her hand.
Yeah, okay, Faith. Sorry, I have not been saying you. I think I need praying for. Hey, Faith, your hand is up.
Oh no, I put it down again because I think you had said it was to do with the question, how long does it take data quality? So
Okay.
if you can move from a 1 to how long will it take to move from a 1 to a 2? So I was going to say that across enterprises, it can take anything from a few months to a year or even more, depending on the
Absolutely.
factors like the company size, the complexity, and also if there's existing data management practice in place, which is the green field or the brown field. So if it's a brown field, it might not be so long, but if it's a green field, then yes, it's long. And it could also be, so it could be the initial setup to define the policies, the standards and processes. Will probably take about
Absolutely.
1 to 3 months to initially set them up. And then to train people, sometimes could take anything from 3 to 6 months. I mean, we're on this platform now. How long do you think it will take? How long do we on this platform think it will take you to, if you have to learn a new application or something at work? How long do you think it will be for you to grasp the training? Some people are quick at learning new skills. Some people, like myself, are slow at learning new skills. Some people, within a day, they've grasped it. So, and if you're looking at a company size of over, say, for example, 1,000 people, of course, you will know there are people who are like me. Some are slow, some are quick. So you as a data governance manager would probably have to make sure the people who you want to train are the people that you know will be able to grasp the training under 3 to 6 months if you want this to be implemented as quickly as possible. Because in that training, you have to communicate the change, you have to train the staff, you have to integrate it into whatever existing workflows there are. And then after that, how long will it take for them to embed into daily practice or daily operations? I mean, even a common thing like, say, a company starts at 9 a.m. and then suddenly the company says we should start at 8 a.m. How many people can really hit that 8 a.m. deadline when it's rolled out? So now we're talking about training that will involve probably learning a new software, training that will involve moving from your old ways to new ways, even something as simple as the timesheet on Oracle. I know sometimes it's taking me even 4 months to learn how to input that timesheet in because the software is one I'm not familiar with. So these things, it could move from a 1 to, because we're looking at number 2. It could move from a 1 to a 2, or it could also move from a 1 to even a 5. So it depends on how quick that company is, how quick the people are learning new skills in that company. we're doing data governance training. Some of us are quick at catching up. Some of us are not so quick at catching up. Some of us have got money and other business ideas flowing through our minds, so we don't. So it's difficult for us to. It's difficult for us to grasp new training. So what I'm just trying to say is that it depends on the people you're training. And that's why sometimes in companies, when they have to have something like this, they just look around at the skill sets of the people, then they just say, you know what, let's get new staff in. Let's start interviewing people to come in and take over this. And then you find that they're also wasting money there again, because it takes time to find that right person that you can bring in and say, you know what, within the week, I'm training you up. And after that, it's all good to go. Thank you. That's my own 2 pence contribution.
Yeah, well said, I appreciate that. Yeah, well said. So, like the most important thing is that it takes a long time, depends on the capacity of the company in itself and how you build your case, and if it is
Absolutely.
so if they can buy into it, you don't have any problem. Again, please, I want us to remind me on the checklist on that. Is that okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, checklist on that so that I can send something across. So let's go to the next one, please.
The third one is business data. A business data glossary or equivalence is in place to ensure consistency in data definition and organization. And I was thinking that would be a two. So it would have been a kind of business data glossary that would have been existing in the organization. So my thought would be just to improve on that. So it's at the defining stage, and I want to move it into the development stage. I mean, from the first two would have had some kind of definitions, some policies in place. So all those keywords will now be in that glossary. That will ensure that there's consistency in data definition in the organization.
Absolutely. So you met two when you
Two.
came in. So that means it's a brownfield.
Is that what?
It's a brownfield. Yeah, it's a brownfield. So what you did, what you wanted after having an assessment, you discover that you need to move the grocery, the grocery to free after 1 year.
So does that mean once you most organizations on Greenfield at 1, and then at 2 and above does show that it's the brownfield? Is that the definition, or is that what
To be
you?
quite honest, yeah, to me, I always want to be putting greenfield to be 0
Right, okay.
because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
You're the one who building up. So, and if you put 1, that means there's already probably database.
Yeah.
There's no program to maintain the data governance, to manage what you need to govern.
Okay.
So, if you put it 2, that means they are actually, in fact, it's a brownfield. So, and for you to think about it going to 3, you must justify why it has to be 3. So the justification will require us now having reasons that we need to present before. That's what Lewis was talking about, case study. So this will automatically become a case that when you do the assessment. So you need to justify. You need first of all look at the elemental function that requires that aspect of business data glossary to be established, and defining the various concepts that are there. And then after which we look at each of them, whether they have been met or not met. why not be met? If it has to be met, what need to be done? And that kind of, because this will require budget as well. Every aspect of it is budget. So if you want to stretch them, yeah, Louis, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Pastor, I wanted to support on what you were talking about. That's we have organizations that triage case files and cases and diverge them to different departments. These softwares do come in contact with humans in terms of receiving data from them directly, and it's a lot more easier because if you were to put a human being in place of such position, it does take a while for one to comprehend and start diverging case files to different, especially if the company is a multinational company entwined with other third-party companies as well. In order to diverge such cases to them quickly to resolve and get feedback in a timely manner, these softwares are put in place to triage such cases. And such softwares do cost money, but in other words, it facilitates speed in order to meet up with company demands and also the case, the stakeholders' view in terms of which also portrays transparency, integrity. That, for instance, you come into the NHS, normally the government is striving for when you come into the GP, for you to get in and out within 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes, you've seen a doctor. And that's why they say you call, is it 101 or 111 or whatever it is?
111.
And that instantly tells you whether or not, okay, you don't need to go to your GP, go to this, go to that, and your case is resolved quickly. And you might not even get to see a doctor. Just speaking to them on the phone, they'll triage. Some even go as far as say, okay, you don't need to go to a GP, go to the pharmacy. Your case file does not need to go to, or your situation or symptom doesn't need to go to the GP. Go to the pharmacy. They would prescribe your drug for you immediately, and you get it. So all these things put in place are kind of like speeding up time, and time itself, and everyone wants to be answered on time. And even companies want solutions to whatever concern or inquiry they raise up to other companies as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Louis. Yeah, I think if he has something on the chat box, if you can tell us what is right there.
Are you speaking to
Thank
me
you.
or okay, madam.
Yeah. So I was just putting an example of what a glossary would be like, a data glossary entry. The first under so if you imagine like the spreadsheet we're looking at now, the headings of all those columns will be, the term will be customer ID, the definition will be a unique identity number assigned to each customer. Say, for example, it could be a date of birth, or it could just be the month of the birth or the day of the birth. So the term will be the customer's ID, and then the definition, the unique identifier, will be, say, for example, you were born on the second day of September. The unique identifier will be 0209, or the 1st of January, 0101. So that will be the unique identifier assigned to each customer. But lots of times we could also use things like, is it Mr., is it Mrs., is it, or some special kind of number. And then under the description, it will be used to track customers' interaction and orders. So that description will be how maybe the customer's address, what address the customer uses, or how many times in a month, or something like your credit card details will be on there with the asterisks on it. You know, a lot of times when you're buying something, if you put in your card number, it will come up, but they will have some numbers blotted out. Those numbers will just have asterisks put on there. So that will be used to track your orders, to say that this person is always doing shopping in this area. Then the data type is the alphanumeric kind of data. So it will be alphanumeric will be A, D, or even if it's your, say, for example, my initial is CO, it will be CO, and then some other, then the customer ID identification number, which will make it CO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. So this is how data glossary entries are usually put on the system. So for those people who have been trained now, what they'll be trained is to make sure is that the term, which is a customer ID, is always put in there. The definition, which is a unique identifier, will always be put in there. And then the description will always be put in there. And this is where you have softwares like SQL, which are quite useful, or Power BI, which are quite useful for doing this. It makes life easier because if you're going against the guidelines, it will bring up an error code, so which means you cannot move forward. So this is where the stewards need to be trained to make sure they're putting in the right entry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For information, I think Louis, I don't know when he will be free from work. After this data quality practice assessment we're doing, we're going to move to Power BI. So Louis will be taking Power BI if he has time, because in most cases he's always working on both weekends or whatever. So, but I think he's free today. That's why we can see him here. I don't know if we do some work. Anyway, so just to let you know, it's a tutor on that. You see, don't you think that the business data glossary is so much important right from the beginning?
I would have thought
yes. It's very, yeah.
Very important.
Very important.
Yes,
So
it's
do you
very
know
important, yes.
Do you know if they ask you a question that you should come out with the initiative? Don't you know that would be one of the initiatives someone can even carry out?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because even as far as the other components are initiative, but this one is very, very important. I can easily agree to Lawrence for putting it too, because the company actually know that it's very important. And when he came, he was able to assess it, and he saw his assessment is 2. So I can move it to 3. Depends on budget anyway. So when it comes to that, to meet target, first of all, you need to define the purpose and scope of the grocery. Then, very, very important. Clearly state the goal of the business data glossary. And that way, you'll be able to provide a single authoritative source of business terms, definitions, and data element relationship, just as if I explained. You need to define those, and also really the terms and business terms, for example, and business definition of it. A definition may not be business definition anyway. And the data element relationship, how they all related together. Then you should be able to determine determine which of the data domains. We mentioned the other time when we talk about customer, product, and finance, HR will be covered initially right from in the glossary. Okay. Most importantly, you have to assign data ownership and governance. It can be councils of the governance. So by so doing, you will appoint data glossary owner up to the data governance office to kind of manage development and maintenance of the glossary. So you should be able to define responsibilities as well for data stewards and data owners in maintaining glossary content, and also approving their terms, their new terms. So how long are they going to be? How long, maybe if it's a rotational position in terms of data ownership, you'll be able to define those ones in the policies. And, in any of these things, you must have to see what is called standard. So developing standard naming and definition rules are very important by establishing guidelines of creating, consistent business terms. As for example, we can talk about naming conventions, definitions, and approved abbreviations that you want to prove, like the case if you put on the chat box, CUS something, and then numbers follow. So those we need to approve all abbreviation that is there that every stakeholder has to be aware of. And you in developing standard, you'll be able to also look at metadata such as definition of data domains and the source system stewards and approval date. Approval date is very important. Also updating date if you want to update any of them. And how regular would that be? The interval that you could use. So we have a lot of one thing again that we must talk about in terms of glossary is select or develop the glossary tool, the tool that you will use. Let me be very frank with you. In any interview, you see, they will ask you, which tool did you use for your glossary? So we have Colibra, we have Alertum, we have Informatical, or maybe SharePoint-based solutions. Most companies use SharePoint-based solutions internally. But now, when you're going to do your certification, you're going to use Informatica. And Informatica is becoming very, very powerful. Now they have gone to, they go global now, they go cloud as well. Okay, they are cloud now as well. And they're facing a fierce competition with OpenAI and AWS. AWS and OpenAI, they signed a very big contract, nearly up to $1 trillion now. I don't know if you're aware of it. So it just came. I don't know if any of you are aware of it. It's about a few days ago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Miss ChatGPT, OpenAI, signed a very big contract. It has with him NVIDIA, it has about 7 of the AWS now joined them. It's going to be global, it's going to be massive. I don't know how Informatica can meet up with such, database, cloud database. But most companies use Informatica and Colibra. So for their glossary tools where they store their definitely defined data as terms and SharePoints. So, and most companies, also, yeah.
No, I said I'm talking about what's happening in the world. I know James puts in something on the platform, although you missed it because your numbers changed. He talked about Nigerian Meta settling Nigeria with a mega sum of £32.8 million fine. So they were fined, and Meta settles them with 32.8 million out of court. Was what Meta or Facebook or whatever settled
Initially
Nigeria.
they didn't want to pay before.
Yes. So
yeah, they didn't want to pay.
That was the, although it leaves one wondering where the money goes into.
Well, that's even, you can make such amount of money within 2 minutes or 10 minutes.
No, what I'm trying to say is that where is the money going to in our home country? I'm just wondering.
James can tell us because he's the one that's closer to James and Paul. They can tell us because and Peace, they can tell us where, because they are very close to Asurok. So so we need to look at that as well, and we have to think about how the glossary can be populated. We start with critical data elements, use across multiple departments within the company, and also know how to report issues when they come, like customer ID, revenue, employee type. Those things are very important. How you put partition your base based on how you want the glossary to be populated. And also you validify the definitions with data owners and ensure alignment with the model you have set for the data and metadata prior repositories. Repository in most cases use a word with like glossary as well. Okay. So in this, if there's anybody having any question on this or addition, but before then, I will always tell you that please try as much as possible to remind me. I can give a checklist when it comes to this aspect of it as well. Okay. Has anybody got any question on this? Or any addition to it? Yeah, the law is busy now at the moment.
Yes,
Yeah, so is that clear?
it is. Thank you.
So what may happen now is we have to think about, always remind me so that I can bring a
Checklist.
checklist on that. So it helps a lot to know how to define your.
Yeah, it does. It'll be very helpful.
Mm.
It kind of shorten the work, so you know what to put as why you
Yeah,
advise for the numbers.
that's correct. That's correct. So which one is the next one now?
So processes and techniques are in place to effectively perform data analysis, profiling, and monitoring.
Okay. Is there anybody here that okay, you want to defend it or?
Yeah, like I said, I did it at 1, and the thought of going into 2, defense would be, again, maybe permit me to say a whole lot that we've said will be in place
Yeah.
to enable us to move to the next level. And perhaps it would be helpful if one can assess that checklist. We never need to be able to explain or give reasons why it could help.
Okay. Let's look at the keywords, the processes and
Processes,
techniques.
techniques, yeah.
And not just only the 2 keywords, we're talking about how
Data
effective
analysis.
they perform data analysis instead of profiling. That becomes that profiling is really data analysis to put and monitoring. So has anyone here apart from me, apart from Ambassador, His Excellency Lawrence, has anyone here carried out the assignment? James? Paul?
After this is the second time I've done this assignment too. If I were to do it again, it'd be a third or fourth time now.
No, you see this, everybody case different. Everybody case different, and how you define your criteria in terms of your assessment and you're putting your case across to the company itself. That's why people are paid different heavily. So Paul, are you here with us? James.
Sir, back here in Nigeria, we have a group. We were looking at the assignment there, although we had this confliction because we were wondering where the law got is scale, whether it was a real life enterprise or it would just make up figures. But along the line, I think I can understand that since he had attributed the business to enterprise, a greenfield means he's making up those scaling. So where at governance
Do you
level,
want
we've not gotten to the
do you want
other
to share
part.
do you want to share your case up here? You want me to give you access to share yours so that tell us your rating, your target? James, Paul,
Sir,
even if you want,
sir, I've done a
yeah,
bit of mine, but I have done a bit. I can share if you want me to.
okay. So let's share then. Um uh let me give you right to share. Okay. Oh yes now.
Okay, sir. So, sir, you can see the screen now, right?
Yeah, it's coming.
Sir, you can see the screen.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Also, sir, all I've been able to do is manipulate. I'm just learning how to manipulate the entire file. Like for a while, I've been able to get the averages, how to like transfer the formula from here down to another one because I was inputting in digits and it was not giving me the averages at the end of it. So that was what I've been learning how to manipulate. But this is what I've been able to input so far.
Okay. Is there any reason why you're able to arrive at that? Like as His Excellency Ambassador Lawrence was explaining, because
Yeah.
he moving from one to two or so three. So he always give reasons. Let's move to the policy side. Good. Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. We finished the data grocery. Let's move to the processes and tech. Oh, you haven't put anything in there.
Well, I've not, yes, sir.
Okay. So, James, have you got anything?
So I don't have it. No, we were working
I
together and using
I think
my system, but it refused me to save.
Okay. So you will have to
I
really,
think
really finish this. Yeah.
I think James Peace and Paul, three of them are working together on the
Yeah.
spreadsheet, which is what they said earlier on.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have not been
That's
able to get anywhere.
three heads is
okay.
better than
So
one.
so it's easy now. You are getting some expo now from
From
this so
ambassador.
now from ambassador. So ambassador, you might have to come and
Yes,
share
sir.
that so that we finish policies and so that they can complete their own by next. Listen, let us deal with one because the time has fast spent now. Or do you want me to? You
Oh, so
want
I
us
can
to
stop
close?
sharing, sir.
Yes. Do you want us to close for today so that you can have a meeting with the ambassador? Yeah, on
No,
your
Pastor,
time.
finish it now. Let's
It's
finish it.
not.
Let's follow Ambassador's own.
Yeah. Okay. Let's finish the policy today. Let me, ambassador, if you have time to
Yeah, I
share
think
again.
let me just do the last two there
Okay.
so we know that that one is done.
I'll stop
Hmm.
sharing, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. This
Yes,
Paul
sir.
is very handsome. If I grew up, I'll be like you.
Sir.
Okay.
So I did say it's from 1 to 2. So anyone wants to bail me out and what could be raising to move from 1 to 2, but I'm guessing it will be centered on a few things we said in 1, 2, 3 explanations.
Let me look at your target in 3 years anyway. Your target is in 3 years.
The process is to be embedded, techniques to be in place. It would take some time. Moving from greenfield, getting the right people, ensuring the executives are backing us.
Let me go in on this. Let me just go in. First of all, in any of these things, you have to define what it entails. First of all, I made mention of the keywords that are there that need to be defined. We'll talk about processes, techniques. Okay, are they in place too? Now, if they are in place or not, even if they are in place, you see, to effectively, the word effectively play a very vital role there, perform data analysis. So, and those who have attended data analytics lesson, you will understand what I'm saying. So, and during data analysis, that's why you use Power BI, SQL, and a lot of data software. So you analyze data, you profile data, cleanse, and also you have so much thing you do within. The concept of ETL and ELT. So it takes place right there. Okay. Now, that being said, you have to establish, number one, to meet a target, how effective you establish data quality and analysis framework. You have to know, am I effective or not effective? So in establishing this, first of all, you have to establish data quality and analysis framework. How do we do that? You develop a formal framework outlining how data analysis, profiling, and monitoring will be conducted across systems. That is also an initiative you can carry out. And then in that, you define the objectives of what you are, of your establishment, the scope, the tools you will use, the frequency that you will use the tool for, and also carry out the analysis and then reporting method. Very important, whether is anything wrong or not anything wrong. Okay. And then you have to in that establishing a data quality and analysis framework, you'll be able to think about how you can align the same framework you are establishing with the organizational data governance and data quality process policies. People must know the difference between data governance and data management, and also data quality. Okay, quality talking about data integrity, and the data governance talking about the policy put in place and framework and procedures. While data management is enforcement of what has been put in place, especially the policy. So we must understand that in interview, they normally ask those questions. What is the difference between what is the difference between data policy and data governance and data management? Okay, now in that, because we're talking about data quality, and this, for you to have a target based on that in terms of processing and whatever, you need to define standards. I have said to you that this question from A to Z, don't forget about standards. Don't forget about standard and policy. Very important. So you have to define the standardized process. What process that you need to set up that continuously meeting up the standard of the quality of data you want to achieve. So that process, that defined process, standardized process, need to be documented by way of step-by-step procedures that you will carry out in your program for data profiling, analysis, cleansing, and monitoring. When we're going to be doing Power BI, you will see it with the tool, using the tool, how to cleanse data, how to profile data, also how to visualize them, how to input more universal data in order to enrich the data inside before visualization, how to interpret it. That's why you're going to be seeing them in Power BI. And also include monitoring of the data as well. So when you define the standardized process, you have to be looking at including clear guidance on data sampling, how to sample the data, and also validation rules that must take place, and also issue escalation. In all these things you're looking at, you got to know, you got to answer one simple question. Does my company does it have what it takes to carry out this within 1 year in terms of my target? If it is so, no problem. Okay. You must also integrate this process into existing ETL, or data pipeline workflows. There could be existing extract, transform, and load within the corporation. Otherwise, you have a different pipeline workflow to ensure the whole process of profiling, analysis, cleansing, and monitoring can be used as well. Another thing I believe we can think of is how to deploy data profiling tools and techniques. This really involve the implementation of automated data profiling tool. Very, very important. Automated data like Calibra Informatica, they are all automated, so we don't even Talent. That's another tool you can use as well. So Power BI data flow as well. Those are automated, so it's very easy now. But if you know the concept, the software is there, so easy. Okay. For you to deploy it, you need to agree with the stakeholders whether they will agree to purchase it, and you also need to ask yourself whether it's going to be customized to your enterprise or not. But most company customize it to their enterprise need, business need as well, to be more user friendly. Okay, so use techniques such as descriptive statistics, where especially when you have existing data, secondary data, to find the mean, median, and frequency of occurrence. And also you can use pattern, you can use that to determine the pattern and format analysis when you're using such data. How often this and how does it occur patternly or in trend? So use especially in CRM platform. When we use that as a base or a precursor for forecasting and prescriptive as well, by way of recommendation. And you can use some of them as the outlier detection, so easily to detect what is actually going to be coming out of your profiling. And you can also look at the techniques used, like a data completeness and consistency check. Is it complete or not complete? Is it occurring as it's supposed to occur? Okay. You could also look at, when it comes to this, you could look at how to establish data monitoring and alerts. In case there's a problem, you see the alerts coming up automatically, and then you configure threshold in which you can take care of any anomalies that will take place. Especially missing values or duplicate records or inconsistency at the point of entry. If your name is supposed to by way of format and standard set, if your name is supposed to be John Smith, surname John Smith, and son name is Smith, first name is John. Okay, and there's no middle name. So you begin to put middle name, then you see alert will show. So those are automated systems so that you can always get that done. If there's a missing value in case of names, date of birth, if it is not missing or whatever, or how you format it, then automatically it will be showing alerts. Okay. You could consider in this how to assign roles and responsibility. This is very, very important because of accountability or for profiling and monitoring. If there's any problem, you're able to think about having a data analyst in place that will perform the analysis and generating insight that need to be visualized. And also, you can talk about data stewards, which of course, what they do, they review data quality issues and coordinate corrections when during the analysis as well. Maybe IT and data engineering teams can automate monitoring and support tools to help in terms of automation and alert generation. So above all, we must learn how to integrate data governance framework together with other aspect of. Anyway, in any case, if there is no other thing, I will want you. Do you want me to give you a checklist on that?
I will appreciate. I mean, if there are checklists for each of these, it would be great to have them just to be able to answer questions, maybe promptly or accurately, if possible. Do you have checklists for each of these, or is it something that
I can send it to the group.
Okay.
You want me to send it to the group when those who haven't done it?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, sir.
You said you want me to check. You want me to check. Send it
Yes, sir. Please,
to
sir.
you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes,
Thank you,
we'll
sir.
take a checklist, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. So, remind me, Massimo, tomorrow, so I can have that.
Okay, sir.
All right. So which one is the next one? Because
So just to wrap up, data quality reports are actively used throughout planning, solutioning, and change management processes. 1 to 2, the idea, I think borrowing what you've just said, we need to define, make sure we define what our data quality reports look like and ensure that they've been standardized across the organization. I think that would enable proper planning and solutioning as well as change management processes. Does that sound right?
yeah, anybody who can help there.
Hi everyone. Now, the data quality reports are accurately used. It's somehow in line with the one before it, which is the processing techniques and effective performance of data analysis and profiling. Now, in like what Pastor was talking about initially, let me lower my hand about the techniques that can be put in place in order to have effective data analysis, which is one of it from my own experience at work is profiling, which is creating the data of the person, unique name, number, which are attached to everyone or customers or companies that you are dealing with. That way, it gives you a perspective on what is expected and in line with policies put in place to execute such process or monitoring information given to them. Linking down to data quality, it is quite important that these data are put across the whole channel or the structure itself. Examples are updates on address. Also, there are also case studies of quality data not coming across the organization whereby services are rendered to the wrong address, all because someone failed to update the data in terms of address of the customer or the company, and also identifying new areas on which policies can be improved as well. So, in my own pinch of salt on this one is to organize more training for the staffs or the entire company itself on how they can be aware of the view of the stakeholder, which is the company, in terms of the service they're giving out, and to keep training. Keep training. First of all, let the managers, the stakeholders, buy into the idea on how these data are more important in the organization in order to project the view of the company and the services, thereby giving other junior staffs more training and making them more aware. They say continuity creates persuasion, and that way keeps everyone on edge on what is expected, and also other managers to make sure everyone is following through with what is expected of them. Thank you.
Good. Really good. Good.
We can't hear you, or is that me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What are the keywords that are there?
Data quality reports are actively used throughout the planning, solution, and change of management process.
We are talking about reports. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah? Are we
Yes,
talking
sir.
about reports?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So are we talking about planning there?
Planning, solutioning, and change management process. Yeah.
Good. So if you look at it now, if you look at it perfectly, you will see that they're talking about the outcome of what you have done and how you're going to report it for planning. So when we are dealing with issue like this, the outcome of it is just for the purpose of having strategic decision making. That's what we're talking about the planning for. So we're talking about data quality in terms of reporting and planning. So the first thing, always remember the keywords that are there. And you cannot have a building without a structure. Is that correct?
True.
So any of these answer that you will have, speak about the elemental function of what is required in that statement.
Okay.
And then you need to think about framework. Always talk about framework, always talk about standard. It's a secret of answer. So in meeting such a target, you need to think about how you embed data quality in governance. Governance in terms of reporting, governance and planning framework. So to ensure that we must integrate the data quality you have acquired, the report of it, into the company's governance. And in this case, will be like planning, project planning, and change management methodologies.
I wanted to add to it that collective feedback itself from customers, staffs themselves, also projects whether or not there's a full extent and understanding on how things should be put across properly.
Yeah, that is where we're talking about reporting now. Why? Because the cybernetic process you have, which is in terms of feedback, will help you to know the insight that you have produced with respect to your clients, your customers. So that will help you to also look at the quality report that will come, because people must have insight with the data, the quality of your data. So that feedback helps you in reporting it appropriately to the enterprise that you're working, and it will help in their strategic decision making, especially when it comes to planning, okay, fiscal planning, and also the management if there's going to be a change. So planning, you can use some insight from a data let's speak really practical right now. We have a consultant here in terms of planning. You cannot plan without data.
Yeah, true.
So
Very true.
even if you use Prince 2, you use Agile, you use ETL, you use a PCs, you use
Microsoft
Asta,
projects.
Microsoft project, you cannot. So when the data are right, they report them to be right. Then you now impute in. If across planning, when you have you want to do your WBS, okay, what
Yeah.
breakdown system,
Structure.
so structure, yes. So now you want to plan, and then you do not have data to even start for your planning, it becomes a problem. And that will
Yes.
also not help you to have a commercial issue, because you have a commercial issue when they are lagging, and people couldn't meet up in what they're supposed to do, especially when it's a cost loaded program, because some of the company don't want to cost load. But I don't know how they reconcile their anyway. Well, but at the end of the day, if it is cost loading planning, and we have issues that people are not meeting up, and then who will bear the liability and that kind of thing, then the commercial people are going to come. If data are nowhere there, then definitely going to be problem. So those data must be real, must have high quality. So if there's a mistake there, there's going to have a problem. I don't know, I stand to be corrected.
No, you're right.
No, you're right.
Give some examples from the planning side of it. How we embed reports and planning together in framework in order to help in the governance of the projects. If you have any typical example.
Say, for example, in the construction of a bridge or road, or even a commercial building or a
Yeah.
school, you need to have some data, such as the resources, the labor, the materials that are going to be used. If not, you have not even started, because you can't just say I want to build a school, for example, and not know how much blocks is required, what amount of piling is required for that land, what amount of planes or roofing sheets or whatever is required for that particular project. I know that in some countries of the world, we can say we want to build, and just first of all, we'll buy the land and then say, okay, we've had the land. We'll wait for the next money before we can start clearing the land. In more developed countries, because you have a certain number of people who are the actual developers, they just go and they must have all that on. They must have all that in place.
Yeah.
How much sand is going to be used? How many bricks are going to be used? What level is what the foundation is going to be like, and all that. So they must have all that data for you to even put in your bidding in the first place. If you don't have all that data to hand, there's no way you can put in a bidding to say, right, I want to be one of the contractors who will be doing work on this place. Because every time you approach a big organization, you have to have that data with you, if be it based on historical data, or you have done your surveys and you say this is what and what is going to be involved in that building. It's up to that contractor. But the important thing is you must have some data. You can't just say, right, I want to be involved in building a school and not have any idea how much the materials are going to cost, or the labor resource is going to cost, or even the heavy equipment such as low road. What am I saying? Such as the loaders are even going to cost. You must
Absolutely.
have an idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that insight as well. So very important. I have a lot of examples to give when it comes to this anyway, an illustration. I want us to understand that this is bad reporting.
Sorry, there's something that Barrister Emmanuel put on the platform, which says without data, you cannot plan. Powerfully underscores the critical role of information in all organizational functions. Of course, it's even just
Absolutely.
like it's even just like someone going to the shop. without some information to hand. What are you going to do in the shop? Right, I want to cook food. How much food am I going to cook? Is it for 2 or 3 guests? Is it for just me and my brother or sister? Or is it just for, or is it a party? So you must have some sort of data, some sort of numbers to work by before you can say, I want to go food shopping. Because you can't go food shopping for one person and then decide to buy a sack of rice. It's not possible. Or you're going food shopping for one person, then decide you get to the shop and you want to buy a whole goat or a whole cow. That's not possible. So you have to have some number at the back of your mind for you to say, I'm going food shopping. Although
Absolutely.
I know some of us as women, we tend to say we're going in to buy maybe just tomato and then end up buying a dress and a bag. But even then, the resources, which is the money, has to be there too. So you need to plan for that. Am I using cash? Am I using a credit card? And if I'm using a credit card, do I have enough resource, enough money in there? Thank you.
So thank you so much. Barrister mentioned that resources is very important. Thank you, Barrister, as well. Then when I'm lecturing leadership and change, and also when I'm lecturing in a module that require productions and projects as well, project controls, and I normally these 2 words that normally come. I always tell people that you must remember these 2 words: strategy and tactical. Tactical plan, strategical plan. And we also have the word operation is from A to B. So we must always remember that those 2 words are military, they have military origin. And at point A to B, at point A, you have resources coming in. So at point B, you create value. So you don't go for money, you go for value creation. So it is the value you create that magnetize money in. So the richest people in the world, they don't go for money, they go for value creation. So, and that cannot take place without operation by transforming the resources into a value in operation. So, and at the point of A, which is the operation where it starts, that's why all the things that need to come in, we have these resources, minimally resources of called PMM, which is people, material, and money. So those are the things, those data, if you're not well taken care of right from the day one, among other resources that I will not mention now, then it will be a potential hazard. So I want us to know that we have really spent a lot of time on this. I'm going to give a checklist on this data quality reporting and change management checklist that we need to get. We'll only talk about the area of like embed data quality reporting into planning and governance. An example have been look at the people who are responsible for that is like data governance lead. And when you see any advertisement that a data governance lead is needed, you should know that they want you to learn how to you are expected to know how to embed data quality reporting into what planning and also the governance framework of the enterprise. Data governance lead stroke project management office, they are responsible for that. And the indicator that we use in measuring source, you could see data quality reviews are part of a project initiation and approval process. So you need to tip it whether is it done or is it not done by status. So another area you need to consider in terms of reporting change management checklist will be to define reporting requirements and ownership. On that, you see that who are responsible for that will be like data quality manager, business analyst. The indicators is reporting requirements documented and also ownership assigned to such a role. I have a lot to talk about this, where you have to look into before you say, oh, this is the threshold they have now, and this is the target within 1 year, or to depends on your case that you can put forward and buy into by the by the chief executive or any stakeholder, which may in turn thinking that, oh, why don't we move it from that threshold of 2 to 3? We have enough money because it's a priority. So, and it's okay. Let me shift it from 2 to 3. Oh, why you put it? Maybe you put in 3 before this. I know we don't have enough money. Put it to 2 or let it remain 1. They don't have enough money. So it depends on how you project your case, and always consider the chief executive is always the one who will think what to do when it comes to money or budgeting, even though they buy into it. Okay, thank you so much for today. I quite enjoy you people as well. And thank you, His Excellency, Ambassador Lawrence, for your hard work to finish that. We must finish everything in terms of discussion so that we know that we are on with this assignment. Then the next thing will go to Power BI. Does anybody have a question? Hello, any question? Okay.
No question, but just a contribution to say data is crucial in our everyday life.
Absolutely.
On our phones, we need the data. In our accounts, whatever we're doing, data has become a very pivotal to everyday life.
Thank you so much for that. I want to hear from...
No questions from our side, sir, but I think by next week we should be able to present.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's good.
We'll handle the rules and structures, that's other segment.
Okay. You can argue your case why you want your target to be higher or not. So that would be great. Yeah.
No,
so we have when we say we, that means 3 of you.
We have a group here, there's the 3 of us. We work on something and present.
Okay, from Asu Rock.
Yes, sir. From the Rock.
Okay. Oh, from Asu Rock.
It's being commissioned by the presidency.
Okay, that's good. So are we having anything from Ramsey and Amy Bex?
Sir, we don't have a group in London, no, sir.
Yeah, Amy Bex is in London.
Okay.
So do you want to find time to have a meeting with
Madam said, be quick, Trump is coming.
so you people should collaborate together so I can have you can have a discussion with you can have a discussion. You are already in group, so if you don't know the group you belong, you can. But right now, within the group, we have the foreign now that are working together, and then the London people, they can also work together before the group will meet again. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Yeah, I'll call you, sir, during the week, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
And you to have a wonderful time, everyone.
Thank you, Sister Efe. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, His Excellency. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Barrister.
Have a great weekend. Thank you, Barrister.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you, His Excellency.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, our trainer.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have
we
a
appreciate
great.
you. Thank you for all the contributors, Sister Efe. Thank you.
Thank you.